The Paranormal View. The Paranormal View. The Paranormal View. Time now for the Paranormal View. The Paranormal View on the Para X Radio Network with your host, Henry Foister, Craig Rupp, and Geoffrey Gould. The Paranormal View.
Welcome everybody to the Paranormal View right here on the Para X Radio Network. And for some reason we are still here. We must not have been some of the lucky ones that went in the rapture, I guess. But since not, we'll have our own fun here. I want to welcome.
I have to say, Henry, I was watching Bishop Long doing a live broadcast as it counted down to 6 p.m. at his time zone, and didn't quite happen. So.
Oh.
At least not in his time zone. I figure God might be using Santa Claus's time zone route.
Yeah.
So it could still happen. I mean, my 6 o'clock isn't until for another hour, so you never know.
Oh. Well, if for some reason during the show that we all of a sudden disappear, you'll know it's coming your way. With that, though, I do want to thank everybody tonight listening from around the world. We appreciate each and every one. And if you're not here with us in the chat room, you can come over to para-x.com, click on the live chat button at the top of the page, and you'll be right in with us. And you'll be able to interact and ask questions of the guests. And we have some good guests tonight, and we'll get to them in just a little bit here. Tonight we do have Craig Rupp with us. Problem with him is he's having some microphone issues. So if we can get those ironed out, he'll be on with us. If not, he's at least here in spirit and listening to us anyway. And we have Geoffrey Gould with us tonight. And with that, it's been a pretty good week this week. We also will have Patty later on. She has her spotlight report, and it is with Barry Kling. So stay tuned to listen to that. However, we didn't get to listen to it last week because we were live. And we had a great time with the ghost soldiers at the Morrison, that was the Masonic Lodge, Morrison Masonic Lodge in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I want to thank all those folks for having us down there. Everybody was just wonderful. We had a great time. Did my show live from there, and I also got a couple pretty interesting EVPs. Maybe we'll get a chance to play some of them a little later. If not, we'll do it next week. But, Jeff, I think, have you got anything to add for now? Before we...
well, let's see. We already figured that that Craig's mic is probably being raptured, but I guess we could introduce our guests. We've got Andrew Thompson and his... she's your wife, right? Stacy Ann is your wife, Andrew?
Yes, that's correct.
And his wife is Stacy Ann Raposa. They are of L.A. Paranormal. His co-investigator, Joey Harrison, was to be a guest. He's unfortunately working. Stupid paycheck. Believe me, I do that myself. There have been times I've actually had to miss the show because I've been booked on something or doing, busy. So welcome. You guys actually have a webisode series, which is just starting, and I'm looking forward to the first episode when it hits. So, cool. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here. It's great to be here.
Well, it is great to have you. You're out on the West Coast, and we'll be able to hopefully get to find out a whole lot about the paranormal out there. And if it's any different, I assume that ghosts are ghosts no matter where they are.
That's fine.
with that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started into the paranormal, um, and go from there. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, I'm actually originally from the Boston area. Actually, Stacy is as well. We're both from Massachusetts originally. Um, I've had a fascination with the paranormal since I was a very young child, along with some experiences that I had, personal experiences growing up, and some that continued on into adulthood. Um, it was only very recently that I decided to take on this new project, this new enterprise of creating a paranormal investigative network of our own, and kind of just excuse me, thought of it as almost on a whim, as a spur of the moment thing, something we thought would be fun to do, and just create a little web series and have fun with it. And it almost started out as a thing where we were going to be just goofing around and almost leaning more towards a parody. And then when we found that so many people were interested with what we were doing and fascinated and wanted to be involved in some way, we revised our thinking rather quickly. This all happened over just probably a 48-hour period, where I said, you know what? No, let's do this for real. Let's not do a parody of this. While that would be fun, at the same time, I'd like to conduct actual investigations and try to uncover and document evidence, real evidence, without staging anything, and at the same time approach the investigations with a sense of humor and just really have fun with it. We approach it in a relaxed manner, that when we show our web series to the public, they'll at least be entertained. If nothing else, they're entertained. When we find the evidence, great, we'll see some evidence. When we're not finding evidence, at least we can still have a good time and laugh about it. That's sort of the kind of hook, or the niche that we're going for is paranormal investigations with a sense of humor. In other words, who says ghosts don't have a sense of humor?
So I know one of the things you did, I don't know if it's in your first episode or not, but you had indicated to me that you investigated the Cobb estate here in Altadena.
That's correct. Yeah, that's right, Jeffrey. Altadena. Yeah, the Cobb estate at the end of Lake Avenue in Altadena. It's Lake Avenue and what is it? Loma Alta. There's the cross street, right at the foothills there of the San Gabriel Mountains. The Cobb Estate / haunted forest. For many years, it's been reportedly haunted. There have been all kinds of reports there. They have Bigfoot sightings, a chain ghost or a spirit that's haunting the forest up there. It supposedly sucks the life force out of visitors to the area.
So sort of like a psychic vampire then.
Pretty much. Yeah, something like that, like a psychic vampire. I like that. Yeah, it was really interesting. We actually, we ended up going up there with an open mind and with the intention of trying to find out if there were any truths to some of the rumors that we've heard. We'd also spoken to people, from the area that have grown up in that area. I mean, one of our team members, Joey Harrison, who, as we said earlier, unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight because he had to go for the paycheck, or perhaps he's one of the first rapture victims. I don't know. He grew up in that area, Pasadena, Altadena, and he had heard a lot of stories growing up. And so we just wanted to go up there and see if we could find out if there was any truth to any of these rumors and urban legends or myths, if you will. And with an open mind, but at the same time approaching it, as skeptics. Our whole attitude going in is we're trying to debunk any supposed evidence as much as possible. If we find something that that seems to be out of the ordinary or not normal in nature or paranormal, we first want to try to explain that away by natural phenomena. And if that's not possible, if we can't find a valid explanation for it in the known physical world, we may possibly have uncovered some sort of supernatural activity. And I think our first episode is going to show some really interesting stuff that we found.
That's good. Andrew, can you sit closer to your mic or turn the volume up some more?
Absolutely.
It got a lot lower after we was first talking, and the people in the audience are having a hard time hearing.
Absolutely. How's this?
That's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Better? All right.
Way
I
to
think I'll
go.
just have to hold this mic.
Yes, if you got one of those types, you have to hold it closer when you talk.
Am I coming in, Henry?
Yes, you are. And
Craig. Hey.
Craig is back. Don't talk too much, though, Craig. You'll make it go away.
I am shutting up right now.
And if it cuts out again, I'll just drop you and call you back in. So
Okay, sounds good, Henry.
we won't have any problems with that. You say you've already finished one of your shows?
Correct. Just, moments before logging on here with you for this interview, we were really under the gun. Our objective was really to get the episode, to finish editing it and get it posted this afternoon before we actually got on the show, so we could tell listeners about the first episode, of course, so they could be able to check it out tonight. We just made it. We just actually got it on YouTube just minutes ago. So I haven't even had a chance to watch it on YouTube, the clip all the way through to see if it came through without any glitches. We did have just a little bit of an audio glitch, but we're going to correct that later if it comes through on the video.
Well, now, if they wanted to get on to watch that, what would it be listed under?
Well, it's this evening.
It's not embedded
Go ahead.
yet. I was going to say, I went to your site thinking you didn't embed it on your site yet, but I'm sure the other. Oh, you don't have the.
That's correct.
Anymore anyway. But their website is laparanormal.net, and when it gets, don't worry, you know me, I'm going to find it. It'll be on their website, and that of course will be on my report page, and that's laparanormal.net. It'll be /webisodes.html, and I will right now find it.
And it will be LA Paranormal Episode 1. One thing, Geoffrey, is we were actually in the process of trying to upload the video onto our website, and then I went and got on this call, so we didn't quite finish, but we are going to have that on there tonight, this evening.
Great, that'd be great. Now, being out there, you've just finished the one. What's some of the next projects that you're going to be trying to work on?
Right. Well, what we're looking at is there's a couple of other places we want to look at. There's one we'd like to check out in Pasadena, the Colorado Street Bridge, which has been known as the Suicide Bridge. There reportedly been quite a number of suicides from that bridge over the years since it was built in the early 20th century. And there have been reports of people seeing apparitions in the area, or hearing voices, or seeing a lady in a dress throw herself off the bridge. And people in the arroyo below the bridge have reported an uneasy feeling, nauseousness, nausea, dizziness, and just a feeling of unease. And they've heard crying and voices, and experienced heavy feelings of dread and paranoia, sadness. So
And
there
that's
are all
not
these
just
stores.
that's not just because they're at the border of Pasadena.
I'm sure that has a great deal to do with it. Just being on that border and being in that area. I've spent a little time there myself. Worked there for a number of years, and it can be quite depressing. And yeah.
Certainly trying to use their public transit is kind of depressing. So yeah.
It's tough. Yeah.
Well, now, if anybody out there has questions for Andrew or Stacy, you can private chat them to myself or Craig or Jeff, and we'll get those right over to them. We have also with us Andrew's wife, Stacy, and from what I understood or was led to believe, she does the filming for you.
Yes, I do.
Ah, see. So when you guys are out doing one of these, how long of a time frame do you end up with?
Well, we've only done the one so far. We had to spread it over 2 nights, so we were up there for a few hours each night, and then we usually our goal is to end up with about a 10-minute episode. So from a couple of hours of footage, we'll edit that down to about 10 minutes.
Well, that's not bad. But that's an awful long filming for 10 minutes, isn't it?
Exactly. But such is the way of the biz.
That's it. Yes, it is. So now, when you say this is the first one you have done, is other people shown interest, wanting you to come and do some things for them like this?
We haven't really gotten people that are like, oh, come investigate our house or our whatever. However, we have gotten a lot of people saying, oh my God, I love what you're doing. It's great. I want in. I want to be a part of it. So there's definitely an interest on that part. But we haven't quite gotten any invitations to investigate places yet. And of course, we would love that. So we're definitely open to any invitations that people would extend to us to go and investigate different places.
So how long have you guys had a group to start with?
I'd say about 4 months. This is
so
really,
you're
really
relatively
brand new to us.
then. Yeah. But you have investigated a lot of other places?
Not really. I mean, we've always kind of had, an interest and an awareness of it, but as far as like actual quote unquote investigations, this really was the first one that we've ever done.
So you guys are right on the ground floor now.
We're right on the ground floor. We're real newbies as far as this goes.
Well, that's pretty interesting though. Just starting out and learning even as you go. What's some of the places that you guys would like to try and investigate?
Suicide Bridge, definitely. I hear different things about different cemeteries in the area. I hear the school of thought that says, oh, well, why would ghosts hang around a cemetery? But, of course, there's always Hollywood Forever and different places like that. 2 places that we would absolutely love to investigate at some point would be the Queen Mary and the Linda Vista Hospital.
Cool. Yeah,
Now,
I've been to both places. They're really awesome.
Yeah, Jeff can probably tell you some things that's happened in those places.
Yeah, I got my first EVP on the Queen Mary, and I may have seen something. I'm still not 100% sure what I saw at the Linda Vista, but I came across somebody the same evening who definitely saw a shadow person. And what was funny was when she saw it, she didn't realize it. Her mind matrixed it as an overturned table. And then when she put her light right back there a few seconds later, it had been blocking a very brightly colored doorway. And when she went back, all of a sudden the doorway was there and nothing was blocking it. So she was like, she was hilariously freaked out.
That sounds awesome. I would love to have an experience like that.
Well, the more you do it, there's more of a chance that you'll have that happen sometime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you use any other equipment, Stacy, like digital recorders or anything like that?
We do. Have my little Sony Handycam, which I'm in charge of because I'm a little camera shy. So I let the boys get in front and do their thing. But we do have a digital voice recorder, and we also have an EMF detector. So we're doing this on zero budget. So we're kind of slowly but surely trying to, get a new piece of equipment every few weeks or few months or so, and kind of slowly build up, our arsenal. But right now, it's basically just the digital voice recorder and the EMF detector.
And it's just the three of you to start with.
Exactly, just the three of us. Yep.
Are you looking to add more people to your group?
I don't know if we right now want to permanently add people. One of the great things about our show is that Andrew mentioned before about kind of the comedy of it, and Andrew's personality with Joey's personality, they just have this kind of chemistry. Andrew's kind of the skeptic, but very open-minded as well. But he's an actor, so he likes to be the center of attention, and he's very talkative. Joey, on the other hand, is a self-proclaimed scaredy cat. So the two of them together really have a really, really interesting and entertaining dynamic. And I think throwing anybody else into the mix might mess with that a little. All that being said, we definitely are interested in having guests on our show. If there are people, obviously we have a lot to learn that could teach us stuff or that have suggestions about places to go. So yes and no. So definitely guests, but as far as permanent people, probably not just yet.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Stay small. I'm telling you that from experience. You got a good thing going.
Of course, as far as guests go, I've already called dibs, but.
Yes, Geoffrey is definitely going to be our first guest star.
Geoffrey will be a good one, and I'm sure he can give you pointers on places to go and some different things how to do it.
Now, are you guys, when you're thinking of checking out the Colorado Boulevard Bridge, are you going to be up on top or down in the valley below as well? Because I've seen the stairs go down, but I've never actually been on the bridge on foot. I've only been on like buses and in cars. I haven't had a chance to check it out in person, as beautiful as it is. I love that bridge because it's very 1920s, 30s kind of a look to it with all the old-fashioned light bulbs and all.
Yeah, I actually drive by it almost every day because I work in Pasadena, so I drive by it all the time. But I think our intent when we go there is to basically check out everything we can. So we'll be up above and below. We don't want to miss anything, so we'll try and cover everything.
Cool. So, I had something that just flew out of my head, so don't mind me.
Fell out, did it?
It fell out.
I have that happen to me all the time too, and then I can't find it wherever it fell to. But now, and Craig and Jeff, you both can probably jump in on this also. Do you like, or would you guys like doing the famous, well-known places, the Queen Mary and different places like that? Or would you rather kind of go to the little-known, out-of-the-way places that are that doesn't cost anything or cost very little?
Right. Well, ideally, we'd love to do both, but for now, what we're trying to do is, we're doing these investigations that don't cost anything or cost very little, as you mentioned.
Right.
Little known, out of the way places that people aren't too, they're not publicized all over the, TV on these TV shows where these guys have gone and investigated these places, countless times. Sometimes that can be problematic as well with all the traffic. I don't know. The ghosts could be shy, the spirits could be shy with all those people after a place is. It's almost like a mine that's been played out.
Right.
You've got all this traffic in there, and you've got all these people trying to draw all this energy and collect this energy, and trying to get these things to manifest themselves. It can run dry, is my belief. Of course, I could be totally wrong, but that's what I feel.
Why? I do think that the energy wanes quite a bit when it's oversaturated like that.
Right. Right now what we're doing is, since we have virtually zero budget, we're going to these places like the Haunted Forest, which is, Pasade is part of Los Angeles National Forest. So it's run by the U.S. Park Service. It's open access. It's open 24 hours a day, 24/7. You can go there in the middle of the night, and it's not a problem. The Colorado Street Bridge, of course, would be another one it's just an open place. However, ideally, we would love to get into some of the more well-known places as well. Just with budget constraints right now, it's a little difficult. We'd love to get into some of them, even though they have been visited, and we'd love to see what we can collect as far as evidence documentation of our own. That's the thing. Some other places, we're looking to find a way, or putting our feelers out there and checking with our resources and our friends and networking, and trying to find what locations we can gain access to, which would cost us little or nothing. Of course, would be more preferable.
Yeah, that's the way that I look at things. Some of these places, it gets to be really well known. They drive up the prices to do them. And for just the normal person, it costs way too much just to go out for a few hours to try and investigate some place that's probably been oversaturated anyway.
Right.
If it's free, it's for me.
Yes.
There you go.
I hear you. And Stacy says ditto. I don't know if you picked that up. She says ditto.
Well, now, in doing your episodes, what kind of well, you've only done the one, but what kind of obstacles and stuff have you learned and had to overcome trying to do that?
Well, like you said, it's just been the one so far. For as far as creating this episode, the one thing that was an obstacle was scheduling. Just getting the team together, being able to all be available on the nights that we wanted to investigate, and shoot other segments as well to be included in the episode. That was tough scheduling. Equipment, like I said, zero budget has been an obstacle for sure. And we're also finding, like I said, access to locations to be difficult. And these places that, like you said, they charge through the nose for places that are popular, and that they want you to go and spend the night, but you're going to pay upwards of a few $100s to spend a night. Basically, be like a nice hotel night stay.
Right.
But yeah, that's the thing that's most challenging right now. I know that if I had an extra chunk of change laying around, we'd be out doing this a lot more. We'd also have better equipment at home, at our home base here, as far as editing and putting the episodes together. It wouldn't have taken us quite this long to get this done. But yeah, that's the thing. It's money's always an issue, of course, and that it still is with us.
Right.
But that will change in the near future.
Well,
I'm confident.
That's the way it is with me personally. To do things, I have to pay the travel. I have to pay if I'm going to stay there in a hotel, and that's not counting what it would cost to investigate places. And you just don't do a whole lot of that nowadays, not the way the economy is.
Right.
So, but there is all kinds of places that's close by that you hear of people saying, oh, this place is haunted or that. So you can set it up and go check it out and see what you can find. So.
For sure. For sure, yeah. And we're also asking our contacts, like I said, and folks that we know, and for that matter, people listening to this broadcast right now. We're reaching out. If you know of any places or you need any help, especially in the Los Angeles area at this time, we are open and ready for business.
Well, speaking of listeners, I just want to let everybody know that we have listeners tonight from the U.S., UK, Ireland, and Finland. And welcome everybody to the Paranormal View. And if you're not here with us in the chat room, please come on over to para-x.com. Click on the live chat button at the top of the page, and you'll be put in this wonderful chat room with all these wonderful paranormal people. Is that right? Is everybody paranormal?
Pretty much.
I think so.
About as paranormal as I can. No.
I'm doing the wrong show.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, I tell you, we've run through a quick half hour. I think what we'll do is we're going to take us a quick break, and it's probably going to be I don't know, 7-8 minutes, something like that, because after our second break, I think we'll do the spotlight report, because Patty done a real good job on it, and it's going to run probably about 8 minutes doing that one that she did. So we'll get that in right after the second break tonight. So what we'll do is we'll take us about a 7-8 minute break, and then we'll be right back. Somebody has
Whoa, what happened to your mic there, Henry?
It's not mine.
A major hissing going on.
Yeah, I hear it. Would it be Craig's? Could be.
Craig? Maybe Craig fell down.
Oh,
His
probably.
mic may have gone out again.
I'll dump him and bring him back then during break. So while we're doing that, why don't Jeff? Why don't you take us out for a quick little break? How's that sound?
Okay. Well, we'll be right back in a few minutes. You're listening to the Paranormal View with tonight's guests Andrew Thompson and Stacy Raposa, and don't get raptured in the meantime.
Don't go away. The Paranormal View will be right back.
You don't have to be a plumber to investigate the paranormal. Everyone is welcome to the Para-X Radio Network. Tune in 7 days a week for great shows and special live events. 24 hours a day, Para-X is the place for paranormal talk. So whether you're a plumber or just another axe-throwing dragon, Para-X is your source for everything paranormal.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the Para-X Radio Network. Glad you are with us tonight.
Did that promo just say axe-throwing dragons?
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
Sounded like axe-throwing dragons. I was like, okay.
I believe it did.
If it did, ask Dave. He'll be able to tell you.
Guess so. He's in the chat room.
Yep. He'll be able to tell you. But thanks for being here, no matter where you're listening from. If you're not here with us, though, in the chat room, please go to the para-x.com. Click on the live chat button at the top of the page, and you'll be right in here with all these wonderful people. And if you do have questions, please send them along, and we will get them right over to Andrew and Stacy. So we had to drop Craig for a little bit. He's rebooting his whole system, see if he can get it worked out. As soon as he gets back on, though, we'll get him in with us. One of the questions that I've got for you guys, Andrew, is when you was doing this, did you get any evidence?
Yes, we believe we did. Well, we saw several things that we documented in our first episode, which at the time, at this time, Stacy is still feverishly trying to upload the video onto our website at laparanormal.net. We do, however, have the video is already uploaded on YouTube. What we're trying to do is we're trying to embed the YouTube URL code and put it onto our website. I don't know why we're having so much difficulty. We didn't have any problem with the intro or the preview to episode 1, but that will be on there at some point tonight. It's on YouTube under LA Paranormal episode 1. You can also go to my YouTube channel, which is Andy Thompsonify. That's ANDYTHOMPSONIFY. Andy Thompsonify. We did find some evidence. We got a couple of things on the EVP, a couple of electronic voice phenomena with our digital voice recorder. We got some high EMF readings in a couple of locations when we hiked up above the Cobb Estate up to this watershed that was built, I believe it was built around 1919. It's an underground watershed that is able to hold about 200,000 gallons of water. An interesting story that goes along with that is that Mr. Charles H. Cobb, who was the owner of the Cobb Estate back in the early 20th century, he was a lumber mogul and self-made millionaire. He was a lumberjack in his home state of Maine, and then later he and his wife built their dream house at the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains. It almost burned down in 1935 with the Lavina Mountain Fire that burned down the Lavina Sanitarium. Mr. Cobb, who was 83 years old at the time, was able to fight this fire due to the 200,000 gallon water reservoir that was built on his property at the Los Flores Ranch 20 years prior. Now you got to imagine this was an 83-year-old man manning a water hose with 100 pounds of pressure, and he was fighting this fire so that it wouldn't burn down his beautiful home that he built. That was a man that loved his house, loved his property. That was another reason why we thought that someone who cared so deeply for his property and then later died, perhaps his spirit is still in the area, just lingering because he didn't want to leave. However, we did catch a couple of anomalous white mists that we have documented in our video footage. We got the stuff on the digital voice recorder, and a couple of other little interesting things that when people check out the first episode, they'll be able to see. Now, like I said, we went up there with an open mind, but first, as skeptics, but I'll tell you, I did not expect to gather and document so much evidence on our very first investigation, our first episode. We probably have about 7 pieces of evidence documented in the first episode, which is really, really exciting. In a 10-minute episode, that's quite a bit.
Craig, are you with us now?
Or not.
Or not. I'm sure he can hear. He just can't talk.
We also really had fun doing it. We goofed around a bit. We really don't have a problem with laughing at our own expense, and we thought that would be fun, and that'll be evident in the first episode if it wasn't in the preview or the intro. Another thing that we're having a hard time with is besides money, we can always gripe about money. Everybody does that. The other thing is time. It's just having time. Time is a big issue. If I had my way, we'd be able to spend all night at a location. Like as Stacy mentioned earlier, this first episode we only spent a few hours of probably a couple hours of actual shooting of footage up at the estate, and all for a 10-minute episode. And the fact that we caught 7 pieces of evidence and were able to document it, I think it would be amazing. I mean, I can't imagine how much we could actually accomplish or document if we did, say, 6 hours of investigating, or even an overnight stay. And although I love the outdoor environment, I love the whole, experience of hiking up the mountain and doing all that. It was really exciting and fun, and it was dark and spooky and all that stuff that you love to see and you love to experience when you're out there doing it yourselves. I would love to be in an enclosed environment, and an interior, in a building, investigating. And that's what, besides after we do the Colorado Street Bridge, we'd love to get in somewhere and gain access to a place, whether it be a haunted house or mansion or any place that has reported activity. I mean, that would be just ideal for us to be in more of a closed environment, because you're always subject to your video, your audio, especially audio, being corrupted by external sources or people outside. You hear a scream or a yell or a bird call, and it sounds like in the middle of the night. Of course, it can sound like it's something paranormal, when it's not. So that can be distracting and confusing for sure.
Which also makes me wonder. I was looking at the information on the Colorado Bridge as being a suicide bridge, and a lot of time it mentioned that people sometimes hear screams in the night, which makes me wonder, considering the wildlife around with the hills and the mountains,
Right.
Are you aware that foxes essentially scream? Their barks and sounds come across as almost literally sound like women being murdered.
I don't believe I was aware of that.
I was not aware of that either. I came across a YouTube video some time ago, and you see this fox, and it's barking, and it's a really sharp, very piercing bark, and then it would just open its mouth and let out this shriek. Now I know rabbits scream.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I heard rabbits scream, but foxes are about that bad.
Well,
Wow,
Craig,
I had no idea. That's interesting. You've got the foxes, but then on the other hand, you've also got San Gabriel Mountains. There are a lot of hiking trails up there. You've got people hiking in the middle of the night with flashlights. I mean, I couldn't believe that there are people hiking not only during the daytime, but people that are willing to hike up there at night. They you've got kids up in the woods or in the hills partying and drinking beer and whatnot. You got screams. Some of the reports that Joey was telling us about was that in high school, some of the kids used to take their girlfriends up there and up in the quote unquote haunted forest, and try to scare them, because they'd be up there and their buddies or other people would be partying nearby, and they'd be screaming, and they would say it was a ghost or a spirit. And then there were also the reports of that there were drug dealers or druggies or even gangland activity or gang members up there hanging out, and that would try to scare people off their what they considered to be their turf, try to scare them from hanging around. So that was kind of interesting. And another thing was the some hikers found the remains of an adult male back in just last November of 2010, up at the watershed that I was talking about earlier, where we had the high EMF readings. There's the LA County Sheriffs were called in and search and rescue, and some hikers they found skeletal remains of an adult male, unknown, and they don't know what happened. The LA County Sheriff's investigators said there were no immediate signs of foul play. In other words, there were no missing skull fragments or bullet wounds or anything like that, but they did not rule out homicide. And apparently,
was it
sorry?
just a skeleton, or?
It was a skeleton or some skeletal remains, not all, because they said that they believed that some of the remains had been scattered by wildlife, of course.
Depredation.
Now they didn't know if it was somebody up there a gangland style murder, gangbangers, or if it was someone who overdosed up there in the woods, or someone that committed suicide. They just weren't sure, and they could not put an identity to these skeletal remains. They couldn't identify the remains, and we weren't able to find any more follow-up stories on that. After it happened, after the initial story broke, we never found any follow-up as to whether or not they ever identified who this John Doe was, or what happened to him. Without actually talking to the LA County Sheriffs, which we didn't. We didn't contact them and try to bother them with it. But the story was in the Pasadena Star News in November of 2010. And there was a later story, I believe, published in early December of 2010. And but again, no identity to the victim, no real cause as to how he met his demise up there. But we tried to find the area, and we went up to where we believed the skeletal remains were found. And what was interesting, it was as soon as I turned the EMF detector on, I got a reading, and just so happened in the spot that I happened to pick. It was bizarre. It really was. It was amazing. It was this one spot where I was getting a strong reading. When I moved away from it, it went away. When I went back, the EMF meter, kicked on again. And then the only other place we got it was when we made our way back down the mountain, away from the watershed. We ran into Joey was running an EVP session with Stacy, video with the video camera on Joey, and I kind of walked off by myself just to do some EMF readings about 50 or 75 yards away from where they were, and then I kind of walked a little further down the hill, down the mountain, just to see what I could get, and I ran into an area that was significantly colder than the rest of the air where we were. It was just a drop in temperature of about, it had to have been like 10 degrees. And I noticed it immediately, and I turned the EMF meter on, and I got a reading right at that spot of about 4.5, and it kept spiking high right at that spot. So when I went back and got Joey and Stacy and brought them over there, I was walking with the EMF meter scanner running, and got the same reading. So that was interesting.
Wow, and you were out in the middle of nowhere, of course, so it wasn't like there was any electrical stuff causing that to happen.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, Geoffrey, I tried to debunk it. I took the EMF scanner over to the as close to the watershed as I could get, which is surrounded by a chain link fence. I scanned the chain link fence and the watershed. I wasn't getting any reading. Then I would walk away and go back to the same spot, and I would get the high reading again. There were some high tension wires, but they were so far up, and when I held the scanner in that direction, the probe, and pointed it, I wasn't getting a reading. So it wasn't that. And I assumed initially that, perhaps it was from the wires, from the electrical wires, that we were getting some kind of a reading. But I honestly, I think they were too far away. And it's possible that it could have been pipes buried underground that were attached to the watershed, and then we were picking up.
Could be.
But I don't know. I don't know that it would be that close. Yeah, could be. I don't know that they would be that close to the surface. I think they would be buried a bit deeper. Besides the fact that the watershed itself was buried underground, and there were only several feet of the top of the watershed that actually protruded from the earth. So I would imagine any pipes that are connected to it would be fairly deep. I don't think our EMF probe would have been picking up a reading, but maybe it would.
Well, Craig, do you have sound with your mic now, or?
Please tell me you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, Ray.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I've bin listening all along, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to give you a chance to make sure that it was working. It might work for a few more minutes. Like I say, if you drop off or whatever it quits, just let me know, and I'll drop you and bring you back on. Usually that kind of straightens it out for a little bit anyway. So did you have some questions you wanted to throw in or anything?
Well, I missed 90% of the show.
Oh, no.
I kind of wanted to get Andrew's story on how he got started when he was in Boston. I don't know if he talked about the Oregon school poltergeist yet, and the old building high school. Have you
Correct.
talked about that yet, Andrew?
I have not. I have not talked about those.
They were great stories.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. I don't know if I must have those posted on the website.
You do.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I do. Okay. Well, the let's see. The old high school, which is now defunct. It was torn down. I think. When was that torn down? 2003 or something, and a new one built. I think it was around 03. They tore down our old high school back in Massachusetts. Yeah, as a teenager, I experienced some really eerie feelings in the old building. I think the original structure it might have been built around 1903. The old building wasn't used, there was still some classrooms in there, but they're down beneath the lower level. There were some restrooms, boys and girls rooms, that weren't even used anymore. And these were huge. The boys' room down there was huge. Just had a lot of old wooden stalls. There must have been 20 or so of them in there. I remember as a teenager, going into school and or walking through between classes or being late. I was a bit of a punk when I was that age, so I was kind of just did my own thing and went where I pleased in high school. And I don't think we were even supposed to use those restrooms, but I had on a couple of occasions gone in there just when I had a bit of an emergency, if you will. I just experienced a very heavy feeling in the old restroom, very, very strong, and a sense of being watched. And just a strong feeling that something very bad had occurred in there, something dark. There was a very dark energy, and it was disturbing and overwhelming. I mean, just to the point where I became terrified to just even be in that room and just, had to get out. Now, of course, there was a lot of old fixtures in there, a lot of old plumbing and electrical fixtures. So, it is known that electromagnetic fields can give people all sorts of feelings of discomfort that can be construed as something paranormal. So if that's what I was experiencing, it could very well be. But I have to tell you that at the time, it was just such a strong feeling that it was hard to deny, and it was hard to. It's difficult for me to articulate it because it was something that I experienced personally, and I just felt that there was something wrong in there, something dark, evil, an evil presence, and I felt like someone was right behind me and that I might be grabbed any moment, and if I didn't get out of that room, I was never going to get out.
And you're sure it wasn't the teacher's lounge or anything? Oh, wait.
Damn it, did I tell you this story already? Yeah, I'd been in the teacher's lounge too, and I had that same feeling. Yeah. But no, and I went back another time, and I don't know why. I ventured back in because I had to go, and had the same feeling, and just had to get out. I've always at times I've wondered if I could go back there now as an adult, and what would happen? Would I have the same kind of feeling, or would I not? Now, of course, I'll never know because that building was torn down and a new school is in its place. Much nicer one too. But the Oregon school ghost. Of course, I'm not saying the name of the actual township. The one I can't remember it at this time, but with further research, I could find out where it was exactly that we were. I was on tour with a children's theater group in the late '90s, and at one of our schools that we were doing our show was in Oregon, and my partner and I were putting up the set in the school auditorium slash gymnasium that night, and all
Andrew?
of the days. Kids went home, got picked up by their parents, what have you. There was one maintenance worker left in the school, and he had left the building, and my partner was out at the truck getting some equipment, and I was at the set. I heard a very loud bang at another place in the school, like a large piece of equipment had been dropped. It almost sounded like a metal bed frame being dropped from a height of a few feet and slammed on the floor. And I went out into the hallway to investigate. There was no one there, of course. I went back through the gymnasium, walked outside down these steps, and as I got to the landing, reached the ground level, I heard a sound, and I turned to my left and looked down. There was a few more steps leading down beneath the school where there was a little alcove, and a metal door was slowly closing shut. And beyond it, in the basement of the school, it was darkness. It was pitch black, pitch darkness. There was nobody there. It was just a door closing by itself. And this of course shook me up a bit, and I went down the steps and tried the door, and it was locked. It was one of those doors that has the bar, the metal bar on the inside where you push it to open the door, and then when it closes, it automatically latches shut and locked from the inside. So that was interesting, and I felt there was definitely something going on there, and I went and found my partner at the truck, and I asked her if she had just been in the building, and she said no, she had been out there the whole time getting some makeup supplies or music notes or whatever. And I told her that about my experience, and she just immediately was like freaking out. She just started to freak out. She's like, well, let's get out of here, let's go. And as I told her, I was shaking as I relayed my story to her. And stood there shaking and talking about it for a few minutes. We finished up what we were doing, and we locked up the school, and we got out of there as quickly as possible. That may not sound like much, but the noise was undeniable. In fact, my partner even heard it from the parking lot outside. She thought it was me. She thought it was me dropping a piece of the set on the gymnasium floor. The door closing beneath the school onto darkness, that was strange. And even then, I tried to debunk it. I looked around for the maintenance worker, for the janitor of the school, who had given us instructions on how to shut the door behind us when we left and make sure it was locked. She saw him drive away. I mean, he had already left. He had left the parking lot earlier. There were no other vehicles in the lot except our tour truck. So that was interesting.
Now, if anybody has questions for Andrew and Stacy, private chat them to myself, Craig, or Geoffrey, and we will get them right over to them. What I want to do real quick, is for those who were with us last week as we were doing the live investigation at Morrison Masonic Lodge. You guys got to watch and listen to most of it because it was being shown live on the Parax Vision side. So as we were doing some of the investigating, I did come up with a couple of pretty good EVPs. And because you may or may not have got to hear them when we were actually doing the investigation, I wanted to play those two of the EVPs that I got for you, which were pretty good, and they're short EVPs. We were upstairs on the balcony where this little girl Abby we'd been talking with pretty much all night with dowsing rods and some electronic meters, and we kept hearing a bang back in the kitchen behind the balcony. We all went in there. They were getting some great readings, K2 hits and everything. While they were doing that, I had walked on back through the kitchen, and it comes to another stairway that leads back downstairs, the back stairway. And I had was asking Abby if she used that stairway. On this little thing, I was coming back in, and I pick up the sound of I guess it's a little kid, might even be a little girl, but it's I can't tell if it's a holler or a whistle or what it is, but it's very plain. So I'm going to play that for you real quick. Like, if you have headsets, you might want to put them on so you can hear them, and we'll play that. So listen real close, and you'll definitely hear it. So here it goes. That was very quick and very plain. You just hear it.
Clear.
Yeah,
That little whoop was, oh my god.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was very.
It almost sounded like Jackie.
Well, I've never got to hear Jackie, but it does sound like it's a little girl or a little kid anyway. Just, to me, it just hollers or whistles or something, but it's very plain. I'll play that for you one more time so you can actually hear that. Now, I'm pretty sure that it was a little kid, but it could have been Doug hollering because he was scared or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, come to think of it, I've heard that, Henry. Doug, I'm kidding.
And the second one that I got for you to listen to, we were all in this, it was like a meeting room downstairs. And we had the doors closed, so it was just us in the building. And it's right at the very beginning. When I start to play it, you'll hear, and you'll have to listen real close because it's almost like they're whispering, but it sounds like it's right outside the door. And we actually heard this because every one of us started saying, "Did you hear that?" And you'll hear that. So listen real close, and it's right as soon as I start playing it.
Yeah. What's that?
I was going to say, what was that?
What was that? What was it?
I have no idea.
It was either talking or...
It singing or talking, humming maybe?
So it was real quiet. You had to listen because if you can turn your volume up, you can really pick it up. But it sounded like a couple of them was just outside the door talking, and of course there wasn't anybody out there. And we all in the room did hear it. So I'll play it for you one more quick time.
Yeah. What's that?
I was going to say, what was that?
What was that? What was it?
I have no idea.
It was either talking or...
It singing or talking, humming maybe?
So that was just some of the things that we got at the Morrison Masonic Lodge, and it's a pretty neat place. If you ever get the chance to go to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, you can stop in and see JC, and they'll fix you up if you'd like to investigate there. Great little place. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our next break and get Patty's Spotlight Report in. So I'll let y'all listen to that. And Craig, are you still on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is, because you wasn't here for the first one, I'll let you take us out for this one. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Real quick, though, I want to thank Ashton Francis for putting this new computer together for me real quick, or I wouldn't be here at all. So thank you, Ashton. Appreciate it. You're listening to The Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Don't go away. The Paranormal View will be right back.
Welcome, everyone. This is Pat Lynham, the Spotlight Reporter for the Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network.
Welcome, everyone, to the Spotlight Report. This is Pat Lynham. Tonight, my spotlight is with Barry Kling, and I welcome you very much to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You bet. This is an honor. It's wonderful that you could do this interview for me. And why don't you just first start out and tell people about you, and everybody should know you regarding the Ghost Lab.
Well, I'm Barry Kling. I am the other half of the Kling brothers. I'm the older brother of the two. I've been doing this officially since about 2007 with Brad. We started out as any other normal group would, and quickly got recognized by some media outlets, and found ourselves on Discovery Channel with Ghost Lab. We had 2 seasons, 26 one-hour episodes, and it's since then been taken off the air, but it was fun when it lasted. It was a good ride, and we really learned a lot from it.
Yeah, because everybody really, I loved that show personally myself. So I watched you all the time. I thought it was really good. I liked the way that you investigate, through the technical, way and to prove scientifically. Can you tell us a little bit about about that? And
yeah, we first, before we had a TV show, my brother and I are very analytical minded and scientific minded. We always want to figure how things work, and we took that into ghost hunting. And with all the investigations we do, we don't just find a voice or find a video and say that's cool. We want to know why it happened, how it happened. We want to know all the answers behind it. And so that's kind of how the Ghost Lab came about. It allows the investigators to get outside of the box or the haunted house and kind of take a look from afar. It allows us to go over our data real time. That's a big thing for us. Is we catch things right when they happen, not a week later when we're down the road somewhere and it really doesn't matter anymore. We're all about real time. We're also about correlating evidence. When I got a voice, what was going on around the rest of the area when that voice happened. So it's really just normally how we think as human beings. We just applied it to ghost hunting and kind of did the whole dramatic effect with it with the Ghost Lab with the TV show. So that's just how we are generally as people. We're very analytical and we're all about facts and figures.
Right. To prove the existence too of the paranormal, I'm sure, because so many people are skeptics, and
right.
And a lot of people haven't. Go ahead.
A lot of people are skeptics, and we're not. We always say that we're not out to prove skeptics wrong. They have reasons for how they believe, but we're not out to prove believers right. So
right.
The skeptics are always going to be there within any field. Are we ever going to prove it? I don't know. I don't think we'll ever prove exactly how ghosts work or how paranormal works until we die and we go to that great beyond. Then we'll know, and then we'll be like, "Oh, that's how it is," But
yeah.
Until then, we will probably definitely not 100% figure out how things happen. But during Ghost Lab, we did figure out a few theories and how some things work. So we're a little closer to that goal.
Well, that's why I think that Ghost Lab was pretty unique compared to all the other, paranormal shows, reality shows that have been on TV, because you really did get into the scientific approach, and the analytical approach too. And you showed that to, people that were watching the show too. So, different ways that you go about it. And I think that was just a wonderful thing. But besides that, now, since then, you started, I understand that you started getting into the paranormal field because Brad saw something at Gettysburg. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, when Brad was 17 years old, he was starting his senior year of high school. The summer before that, he went to Gettysburg with my parents on a vacation. I was in the Navy. My wife and I were stationed down in Miami, and they were actually coming to visit us. As they were driving out of town in broad daylight, off to the right in one of the fields on the outskirts of town, he saw a group of Union soldiers. And I say Union because there's an American flag. They're all dressed in blue, and drummer boys and guys walking with their bayonets and just walking through this field aimlessly, just really not going anywhere. And so he pulled over. My dad pulled over. He got the big VHS camcorder. That was back in like 1990.
Yeah.
And so he pans across and catches, got what he wanted. He wants to get a little closer, probably like 300-400 yards away from him in this field. So he turned the camera off, put it down, and he looked up like he was going to run a little closer. They were gone.
Really?
Completely gone. And in this field, if you've ever been to Gettysburg, this is Pickett's Charge, where this video happens. One of the major battles there. It's just this large field with nowhere to hide. And the reality of it, they couldn't hide. There's nowhere to run to. There's several hundred yards to get to any kind of tree line to hide from Brad. They're at full flags, bayonets, drums, everything. And in a blink of an eye, they were gone. And when he looked back on the tape, he actually caught them on tape. And it's in full color, in full broad daylight. And that's probably, the story, they don't disappear on video. The story has to go along with it. That's why Brad never showed anybody, because it's very unbelievable. It is so real, you think you're watching real people. But they're not real. They're ghosts. And that's probably the most profound ghost video that there is. And that's kind of like, that was Brad's personal proof of the paranormal. That's kind of what threw him down this road to wanting to know more, to investigate a little more. And then that's how Everyday Paranormal was formed, in 2007, 20 years later.
How exciting for you guys, and for him especially. I bet he was just overwhelmed with the reality of it, huh?
Yeah, he was, staying in this field by himself all of a sudden, and that moment where he realizes, wow, this stuff is. That's kind of where the scientific stuff started. So if I can videotape it, if I can capture it on a man-made piece of equipment, there's got to be some sort of scientific properties to it. There's got to be some explanation why that happens, and that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah. Gosh, that's just wonderful. I was also going to ask you if there's any place that you would love to investigate in the world that you haven't been able to do yet, or.
Well, several places. One place is right here in our hometown in San Antonio, Texas, is the Alamo. It's very, 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 probably one of the most haunted places in the world, but, to get in there is take an act of Congress, pretty much. It's control. It's a shrine to Texas, and right. Totally understandable, the men who died there, and they're very sacred upon, disrespecting that. So that's kind of the reason why no one's ever really investigated. No one's ever investigated at all. But that would be a dream place to go. Another place would be the White House. That'd be, that's also one of the most haunted places in the world, but, yeah.
Wow!
I don't see it getting there anytime soon. So.
I didn't realize that about.
It's haunted by Abraham Lincoln himself and some of the first ladies and presidents and soldiers, and it's a lot of crazy stuff going on there.
Wow! Oh, that would be a lot of fun to investigate then, because I didn't know that the Alamo. No one has ever investigated it there. Really,
no,
I didn't know.
No. And they probably never will. They'll probably stay that way.
Well, I know that they allow tourists and stuff, around there.
Oh yeah, you can tour it, you can do all that, but it's guarded by a Texas Ranger 24/7. You have to remove your hats when you go in. No flash photography. It's very kind of hollow ground, so they take it very seriously.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't realize it was. Well, why don't you tell people about your website, how they can get a hold of you before we stop for the day?
Okay, yeah, it's www.everydayparanormal.com. But that's where you can go, and it's free. You join up, and you get your profile and everything set up, and that's where we're at. So,
okay, yeah.
You can also get the list of our events there too. You'll know where we'll be. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, yeah, because I have been on that. I was just looking at that, as a matter of fact, this morning. So it's a wonderful website and very informative. Well, I thank you so much, Barry, for taking the time out to have this interview with me. I really appreciate it. And
not a problem. Appreciate it.
Yep. And thanks for coming on the ParaX Radio Network.
All right, and good luck to you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, bye.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Spotlight Report. This is Pat Lynham with the Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. Very good, Patty. Did a great job and a great interview. Appreciate it.
Now, was that her dog or Barry's dog?
It was probably hers, and I think she has a doggy.
Cool. I love dogs and cats.
Of course, I couldn't guarantee it, but I think it was hers. Yeah. So, welcome back, Andrew and Stacy. And Stacy's just talked a whole bunch, or Andrew's just talked a whole bunch, and not let Stacy talk, I guess, is what I should be saying. So, I guess...
I agree.
I agree. Now, when you guys go out to investigate, have you got to, investigate graveyards?
Not yet. We've kind of scoped out a couple of them, but it's just kind of going like during daylight and kind of feeling things out and seeing what's out there. We like to do little recon missions before we actually go to a place, so we kind of know what we're in for. So we haven't actually investigated any graveyards yet, but I took a ride up to Forest Lawn a month or so ago, and we also went to
Which
Hollywood
one?
Forever. Andrew's been to. So we would like to get into some of those places at night, but I know like Hollywood Forever, they close the gates at like 5 or something, so it's kind of tricky to get in there at night, I think.
Well,
Which Forest Lawn have you been to? There are two. You mean the one near Warner Brothers and Universal, or the one in Glendale?
The one over by Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've been to that one. That's a beautiful cemetery.
It is. It's gorgeous. I drove in there and expected to be kind of creeped out, but I wasn't at all. It was like going to a park or something. I mean, it was really peaceful and beautiful and lots of flowers and grass, and it was very nice.
So are you one of the ones that gets scared when you go out investigating?
Not really. I mean, I'm not scared of ghosts per se. Because it's my belief that, they're in another dimension. I don't think they can really physically hurt you. However, when we went up to Cobb Estate, to be honest with you, I was more afraid of getting attacked by a mountain lion than I was getting scared by a ghost.
I would be too if you're tramping around in the woods at night.
Yeah, that part was a little scary, but as far as the ghosts, no. And I think ghosts kind of get a bad rap too. Ghosts are spooky and whatever, and it's like, well, not necessarily. I mean, they're just people.
That's right.
I mean, why do they always have to be bad and scary and spooky and evil?
It's not like Casper's little friends are trying to scare you all the time.
Yeah.
Now, Stacy, you're aware that Hollywood Forever has daytime sightings, right? A lot of times they pass through the walls of the Paramount backlot.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've heard a lot of there's a lot of activity around like Rudy Valentino's grave or tomb or whatever it is. I haven't actually seen it myself, but I have heard that.
You haven't seen his grave, or because I can show
No,
you
I
that.
actually haven't. I haven't been all the way in. Andrew's been there a few times. I've just kind of been on the outskirts of it, so I haven't really gone in there and seen too much of it.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to be one of the tour guides of one of the ghost tours they had in Hollywood, and he went into the mausoleum, the main mausoleum on Hollywood Forever, and found the burial places, I guess, I don't know what they call it, no, mausoleum, where they're laying out Rudolph Valentino not too far from Peter Lorre, and he left his recorder on. He went outside to get his girlfriend, came back in, retrieved the recorder, and as they were leaving, and they put the cassette into the car player, they could hear him ask, "Is anyone here?" His footsteps going away, and then a single voice in the empty place going, "I can't act."
Oh my God.
Sadly, I was not able to replicate that because I've been there and I've tried EVP in the mausoleum and such, but so far, not so much.
Craig, are you still here? Or did you lose sound again, or your mic again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You're doing good now.
I'll be damned.
I just didn't know if you had questions or what, and couldn't talk.
Yeah, I'm just chilling out here. Actually, I read where they like to work with psychics and mediums. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, we haven't actually conducted an investigation with one yet, but I do have somebody who's very close to me, a cousin, who's more like a sister actually, that is psychic, and I've spoken with her about it, and she's really interested in doing it, and I think it'd be really cool. I think it would just be like another kind of like another realm that not everybody can necessarily access or knows how to access on their own. If you have that help from a person who's really open to that, I think it could be really cool.
Cool. Don't mind me, I'm typing.
Yeah. Just so you know what he does, he types up the whole show and puts it on his site, so you can get a synopsis of the show, and you'll also be able to hear the podcast from his site. But you can also hear our podcast if you happen to miss the show by going to the Paranormal View at Podomatic.com. You can also go up to the top of the page and see the on-demand button. You can listen to it through that way, or you can go to our site, theparanormalview.com, and it'll also be there. So many different ways to hear our show. With that, I know being on the West Coast, do you feel that there's more places out there to investigate than, say, in the Midwest or eastern part?
I'm not real familiar with the Midwest at all. I was born and raised on the East Coast, and I've lived on the West Coast for about the past 15 years. In doing some research, just even online, like, if you Google like haunted places in California, there seems to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of places, more than you could probably ever hope to visit in a lifetime, on the West Coast. That being said, though, I mean, there's so much history, not that there's not on the West Coast, but there's so much history on the East Coast, as well. So I would think it would probably be pretty equal, but having not really gotten into the investigation until I lived on the West Coast, I don't really know. There's places like Gettysburg, and a lot of the shows on TV you see take place up in the Northeast, so there's lots of places up there, and of course like Salem, Massachusetts, all that kind of thing. But there seem to be just as many, if not more, out just in California alone, from what I've seen so far.
I think one of the things with the West Coast is because of Hollywood. There's the famous notoriety of actors and actresses. That there's a possibility of more from that aspect than there would be from the East Coast. But there is East Coast and West Coast. I think you have spirits all throughout the world, not just the United States, but through the world. So I would say that it's probably pretty equal in that aspect. The only thing that I would, like I say, could see about the West Coast is you maybe have a chance to come across a more famous spirit being there.
And just as easy to get an autograph out of them too.
That's what I was. Yeah, and right now they won't charge you much.
This is true.
Another thing you guys could look up is some of the bed and breakfasts out that way. I mean, there's a lot, like Gettysburg, for example. There's a lot of bed and breakfasts that are haunted or claim to be haunted. That's a place that you guys could start.
Yeah, Craig almost has a summer house at Gettysburg Battle Site somewhere.
I will have a summer house at Gettysburg, Jeff.
Now, Craig.
Now, I should mention, and I mentioned this to Stacy through Facebook, that I hadn't noticed until recently that Andrew and Stacy are both from Woburn, Massachusetts, which is a beautiful little town that I spent a few weeks in back in the early 1970s through a choir exchange program. Their choir came down to New Jersey for a couple of weeks and performed with our choir. And then about a month or two later, our choir went up to Woburn, and they hosted our members and such. And it was a beautiful little town, very friendly school. And I don't know if that's the school, Andrew, you just said has since been demolished, or was that a different school?
No, it actually, first of all, let me just say that I love that you say Woburn correctly, first of all. Secondly, yeah, it actually is the same high school. It was pretty old. My mother and I went to the same high school, so that gives you an idea of how long that was there. It was, I think, like Andrew said, built in the early 1900s, and they just demolished it within the past couple years. So,
Your mother won't like that.
So yes, it is the same. There was originally, when the high school was built, that's the quote-unquote old building, and then they added on to it maybe 50 years later, and that was, the new building. And then the old building, of course, was where Andrew had his experiences in the boys' room.
Cool.
So are you going to try and find a famous spirit to try and talk with and get EVPs, or do your show maybe around where they lived, or in the graveyard or somewhere?
I think that would be pretty cool, and I think that's kind of the beauty of living in LA too. I mean, no matter where you go, LA's pretty, like you said, has such a rich history with all the film, and so pretty much anywhere we go, I think we might have, a chance of that. I wouldn't say we're going to definitely focus our investigations around that, because personally, I think, contacting a ghost or a spirit or an entity or what have you, whatever you like to call them, I don't really see one as being more exciting necessarily than another. I think just the fact that you can contact somebody in another dimension or on the other side is exciting enough in itself, let alone if it's, Rudy Valentino or Joe Schmo from down the street.
I'd like to talk to Elvis.
Well, yeah, of course I'd like to talk to Elvis, but, of course he may still be alive, though, so you never know.
Okay, looks like we might have a no, I thought it had a question, but I guess not. That was my mistake. So, Jeff, I know, Jeff, you know where there's some places that you've been. There's some theaters and different things like that you've been in.
Yeah, we've got at least 2 haunted theaters I know about. The downtown LA theater on Broadway, where I had rather a surprising ghost experience, which I did not expect. It simply happened. I was like, what the hell? And later, when I spoke to the Historical Society secretary, I asked, I told her, I said, I understand the place may have a history of haunting. And she says, oh, yeah, there will be voices and cold spots, and people don't go in the cellar after dark a lot. And I asked if there was anything about a specific bathroom, and that's all I asked, because she says, oh, yeah, you'll hear voices and the toilets will flush themselves. Well, if that's what had happened to me, I had the toilet next to me flush and a very loud male sigh when no one else was in the bathroom but me. So I was like, well, you can chalk someone else up to that. And on Melrose Avenue near Fairfax is the Matrix Theater. Interestingly enough, a friend of mine, actress Pamela Salem, had a theater group, and occasionally they would rent it out for a season. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen anymore because she and her husband are moving to Miami, Florida in a couple of weeks. But while I was attending a performance, there was a loud crash. And being an actor, what my mind heard was this woman went off stage to get a tray of sandwiches. She had mentioned that was her reason to get off stage. And then there was this big crash. And it sounded like she was holding the prop tray and had dropped it. I was like, oh, and I'm thinking, oh, it's so embarrassing. Because even the lead male on stage kind of jumped at this loud crash. And I was like, oh, how embarrassing for this actress to have dropped it. She probably broke all the glass props, and now they're backstage panicking, wondering what to do. But she didn't come back for the rest of the scene. And the play continues to the end, or at least it was the first act. So during the interval, I went to my friend Pamela, who wasn't in the performance, she was just out front. And I said, what was that weird crash? She said, well, that was the air conditioning vent. I said, oh, okay, kind of an odd time to close it. She says, you don't understand. The only way you can close that is to climb up a ladder and close it manually. It cannot be shut automatically. It's a manual thing, and it's very heavy. So I joked. I said, well, maybe the place is haunted. She said, oh, yes, it's very haunted. And she told me about lights that went on their own. They were doing another play that I saw where she was the lead. And during the rehearsal of this thriller, which had a tube to represent a well that one of the characters gets killed and thrown into, they could hear during one of the dress rehearsals a rapping coming from inside. And they're thinking, please be the stage manager pulling a prank, because you could go onto the stage and go into this tube. And, of course, there was no one making this very specific knock, 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 knock sound from inside, like, you want to see what's in here, don't you? Yeah. So, yeah, we've got some haunted places out here.
And you got to spend a whole night at the, was it the Vista, what is it?
At the Linda Vista Hotel, yeah. I related my little, I may have seen the head and shoulders of a shadow person when I was taking a flash picture, because no one else was with me in a very, very long empty corridor. And when the flash went off, at first I thought, oh, there's my head, and I'm thinking, wait, that can't be my head and shoulders. I'm behind the flash. And I tried replicating it with the girls I'd met later, and even at the far end of the corridor where I thought, well, maybe somebody was coming up with a flashlight and that's what illuminated me, the angle was completely wrong, so I wasn't able to replicate the effect that I had seen. I also spent a night on the Queen Mary. I've been on the Queen Mary a few times. I had the one EVP experience, and in the morning on Sunday, I had an invisible dog bark in my face, which my cabin mate heard, and as I stood by the cabin door, there was a loud crash from the hallway, as though somebody walking by had tripped, fell, and was hitting the door on the way down to the deck. And of course, I immediately yanked open the door, and it was a completely empty hallway. And he and I are both like, well, I guess I didn't expect that to happen, because we knew there'd probably be no one there. So yeah, Queen Mary, very active.
So the next one that you're going to be doing is the bridge.
Suicide Bridge, yeah.
Suicide Bridge. When is the last suicide taking place there?
Well, probably yesterday, with the rapture being today and all. Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's...
maybe about 3 hours and 41 minutes ago.
So do they have that many people committing suicide off that bridge?
Apparently, yeah, about 150 since it's been there, and some as recent. I mean, these aren't all 100 years ago either. They're in the past. I mean, I know of somebody personally, a friend of a friend, that was probably within the past 10 years. So it's a little creepy.
It's a very, very tall bridge, and a very nicely long bridge, Henry. And the plummet from it, you could probably bungee off this bridge. And there's very little, there's probably little to no water at all. So you're just landing on dirt and rocks.
Wow.
So yeah, it's an effective way if you really wanted to go. I'm surprised they haven't put fencing up, but it would really ruin the aesthetics of it.
Well, they're probably trying to beautify America.
Sort of like deep Darwinism.
Yeah.
People.
Well, do you think that there's something around the bridge that would maybe cause people to want to do that? Or do
you mean like a negative energy that draws people to the
something that would make them want to jump, or were they just in that frame of mind to start with, and that's where they go to do it?
That's a really good question. I mean, you would think in such a concentrated area where so many people have taken their own lives, yeah, I mean, one would think there'd be a great deal of negative energy there, but I don't know. Guess that's something we'll have to investigate when we get out there.
They shot a segment of Fear Factor at the Colorado Street Bridge a while back, a few years ago. I think they may have bungeed off it, as Geoffrey mentioned.
Well,
They did something like bungee jumping on one of those things where it was a daredevil thing, you know. I think that was a Fear Factor Sci-Fi channel or something.
Yeah.
Was that on Sci-Fi?
I don't know what network it was on, but
it was.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think they show repeats now on Sci-Fi or something. It's in syndication.
So when you're going to do this, what are some of the things that you're hoping that you might capture there?
To me, anything we capture that we can't explain away by natural causes would be great. The things that I'm probably expecting to capture are maybe some EVPs, and probably maybe some readings on the EMF detector. Is what I'm expecting to find. I guess we'll just have to see when we get there, but I wouldn't be surprised to find either one of those.
Have you heard of people getting evidence from there before?
I haven't actually. I haven't heard of anybody. I'm sure there probably have been people, but I personally haven't heard of anybody who's actually investigated it. It's not something that that I've seen on TV or anything like that. All I know is just people, kind of the urban legend kind of thing. People around here, since we live so close to it, talking about things that are seen or that are heard there. So yeah.
I have a question from Patty.
Okay.
She wants to know, how old is the bridge and where exactly is it at?
It was built in 1913, and it's actually at the very end of Colorado Street into Pasadena, so it kind of connects Eagle Rock to Pasadena. So it's right on the edge of Pasadena as you're going on the 210 at the end of Colorado Boulevard. I think they actually close it down for like a 4th of July celebration or something every year.
Well, they definitely close it for New Year's Day because of the Rose Bowl parade, I would think. But it's not the end or beginning of Colorado Boulevard. You got Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, and then you got Colorado Boulevard going all the way through Glendale, almost to San Fernando Road. And yeah, because I take the bus on Colorado Boulevard all the time, so I know that. And yeah, it's just this very ornate, beautiful little bridge. Let me see. I've got a good photo. I can send a link to the. Oh, let's see. I don't have it. No, I've saved it to my website, but I haven't uploaded it yet, so I haven't. If you go to I'll post it on the page as well, so it'll look all nice and pretty.
How far are you guys from Brentwood?
With or without traffic?
Now, see, if I lived out there...
It's
go
probably
ahead.
about 20 minutes, but realistically, I would say more in the 40 to 50-minute range.
Okay, now see, if I was out there, I'd be having full-blown recorders at OJ's old house trying to solve the big mystery.
Oh, there's an idea.
I mean, honestly, I've gotten just a quick story right here in my hometown. This guy was showing me this haunted house, and I just turned my recorder on walking by on the sidewalk, and he did not know it. When we got to our cars, I played it back, and you hear a big like yell or a growl, and it was totally quiet that day, and it freaked him out. So you could possibly get something.
That would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm.
Maybe a scream, anything, That's where I'd be.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it being Hollywood too, or LA, there are so many places like that. Like another one that's kind of interested me is, like the Manson murders and that whole place. Although I don't even know if those houses are still around. I've heard that they're not, but there's all
The houses
kinds of.
aren't.
No.
Well, the houses aren't actually around. The area is still around, and the neighborhood is still there. And sometimes people do investigations up there and get stuff.
Now, they also stayed at a ranch. What was the name of that ranch? It used to be an old movie studio.
Or
where they would, where they would go out and make films on this ranch. His family, the family lived there on the ranch for a while.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I forget the name of it.
William S. Hart?
I'm not sure what the name of the ranch was.
Because I know that William S. Hart has a ranch. I don't know if they filmed there. His estate is very haunted. That's up near, on the way to Valencia, up the 5. I've been there, and I took the tour, and then later I found out it was haunted. I was like, oh. But yeah, he was one of the first true movie cowboys, because when he was watching movies out where he lived in the Old West, at that time, cowboys were represented almost as their outfits almost looked like clowns compared to real cowboys. So he came out almost to be a consultant. He ended up becoming the first real cowboy movie star for the Westerns.
Right.
Back in the silent days. So I'm wondering if that might be what you mean.
I forget what the name of the particular ranch it was. Some old man.
Barker Ranch.
The which one?
Which one?
Barker?
Yep, that's it. Yep. The Barker Ranch. They stayed there for a year or two. The family did. As a matter of fact, I think they was living there when some of the murders had taken place.
Yep.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that would be a pretty interesting place to try and go to investigate also. Yeah. So there's lots of great places out there that is the Spawn Ranch. They got a whole bunch of different areas out there that I would like to. I don't doubt that probably some of the movie studios themselves.
Oh goodness, yeah. Paramount, Universal, they're very haunted.
Yeah. Have you got to do anything on those, Jeff?
Not investigative-wise. I actually had, when I was working on the first Garfield movie, one of our breakfasts was in the soundstage that is supposed to be very haunted, where they had the opera house from Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera still set up. And what's interesting is they still use the soundstage. They just build really small sets inside the walls so that they don't damage the walls, because they're considered such Hollywood
history.
Yeah, exactly.
It's real interesting places, I tell you. Now the Queen Mary, that's a popular place, but don't they charge a lot to go on there to investigate?
They've just changed ownership and management again. So we're still kind of up in the air as to what the distinction is on that. So we are going to have Don Chai as a guest in a few weeks, and we can certainly ask them, because she held, she ran the little event where I spent the night and had the dog bark in my face and everything. So yeah, we're still wondering, it's still up in the air as to how investigator friendly the new management's going to be.
Well, our 2 hours is just kind of flown right on by again. Do you guys have any questions from the chat room?
Surprisingly,
no, none here.
Not so much.
They've been kind of just laid back tonight. It's probably wore out worrying about the rapture. So they might be kind of let down that they didn't get a go. So
seriously. There's also Happy, considering what we learned in the Fun of Dying episode that they were looking forward to. I guess.
Yeah, that's right. We had a good show on that too. Craig, you got any questions you want to shoot out there, or anything to say before we start wrapping up?
No, just you guys said you're starting out. Just take it slowly, one piece of equipment at a time. Yeah, actually, your next piece of equipment, what would you like to get?
Love to get a camera, another camera, like a infrared or a full spectrum camera.
Like a night vision and such.
Something, a camera that will pick up images in the full color spectrum that has infrared. Those are.
So you mean like a FLIR?
Yes, yeah, with FLIR, as well. Yeah, of course. I'd love to get one that has a full spectrum that also has the FLIR that picks up heat signatures and whatnot, because that would be a useful tool to have. I think that way we can differentiate between living beings and perhaps shadow figures or any other type of apparitions.
Now, with your filmings, the little segments, do you look to try and keep them around 10, 15 minutes, or are you looking to expand to 30 minutes or an hour?
I would love to. I would love to do 30 minutes. However, it's tough to get people to sit at their computer and watch a video. I think 10 or 12 minutes is already asking a lot, and we just want people to watch the episode through, and we don't want to force them to sit there through 30 minutes. We basically wanted to have a little bit of fun with it and spend most of the time only showing the evidence rather than showing us walk around for 10, 15, 20 minutes in the dark or light, for that matter, with nothing happening, or just to show a single image and say, hey, do you see any orbs here, and just hold that image for 15 minutes. People don't want to sit through that. It's almost like we had to look at it it's as far as actors go with reels, like their reels are getting shorter and shorter these days because people don't want to sit there for more than a couple of minutes and watch a reel. We thought of it in terms of that as far as our episodes go, that we want to keep them tight, quick, and concise. I'd love to do more, but as far as for a web series, I just don't think it'd be very. It's a very good idea to push the time on people. Besides that, I listen. Stacy kind of talked me out of it, and I listened to her, and she's right. I wanted to do 20, 30 minutes. She said, no, we got to keep it under 15. You're crazy, and she's right. I am. So.
She just didn't want to have to do all that editing.
She's a whiz. She's a wizard. She's a master. And by the way, throughout the course of this program this evening, she was able to get our first episode up on laparanormal.net. So it's up there now, www.laparanormal.net. Folks can go there to our website and view it. There's a link on the home page at the top where you can click here to see our first episode, or you can just click on the webisodes tab over on the left, and you can watch it there. I think that people will find it interesting, and we caught some very interesting and compelling stuff, and it's a lot of fun. Of course, you're going to have people that no matter how meticulously you investigate, and no matter what controlled environments or circumstances you have, and however much equipment you use, there are still going to be the skeptics and say that they think some of it's fake or staged. There's nothing we can do about that. That's one of the drawbacks of paranormal investigating, is that skeptics are always going to say it's false, no matter what you do, especially with today's technology and people that have these video capabilities and software to do all kinds of crazy stuff at home.
That's true. I want to thank Andrew and Stacy for being on with us tonight. And I want you guys to stay on till after we get off, and we'll talk with you for a few minutes. With that, Jeff, you want to give your websites and how they can get all this information that we put out there?
Yep, it's my website is geoffgould.net, GEOFFGOULD.net, and if you add a /2011 PNV.htm, that'll bring you to my Paranormal View page on my site, where you can listen to past archives and links to report pages on respective shows. Like this show will have its own page and such like that. And we're really pleased that people come and listen to Paranormal View. We're rapturelicious.
Thank you for having us, guys.
No problem at all. Enjoyed it. Craig, you got some things you want to throw out?
No, I'm pretty boring, Henry.
Oh, come on. You never have got your website up yet, have you?
No, that's never going to happen.
Well, if you guys want to learn more about Craig or Geoffrey, you can go to the Paranormal
I'm on Facebook.
View. Well, you're on Facebook too. But you can also go to the paranormalview.com, and you can learn all about us there. You can also, on Facebook, you can go to The Paranormal View on Facebook. You can do that. You can get our podcasts on the Paranormal View Podomatic.com, and you can pick them up on our website. And also, if you go up to the top of the page and click on demand, they will be there. So, next week, I believe that Mr. Dave Jones is going to be on with us. At least that's tentatively scheduled. And he's going to have a couple special guests, I believe. I can't mention any names yet because I'm not sure. But
are the rest of the monkeys coming on? Or?
I don't know. I have no idea. But we will be talking about something new that's going to be here on ParaX, and Dave wants to talk about it and let everybody be informed. So with that, we are ready to jump off and wait till next week. I want to thank you all for being here listening tonight. So we're going to say goodnight, and you can stay tuned for Joe and Tara. Their show will be a podcast, an encore show. So they had some things that they were doing, and they couldn't be here. So stay tuned for them. We are fixing to jump on off. This is Henry Foister.
Craig Rupp.
And Geoffrey Gould.
And we will see you next week right here on the Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network. So
good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. We're leaving.